welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Neha and I make videos related to books, and welcome to the mid-year book Freakout tag. So yeah, this is a popular tag on booktube and it is usually filmed towards the end of June, towards the beginning of July. I am a couple of weeks late with this, but nevertheless I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in the first 6 months of the year and how they've been. I think it's been a good reading year so far for me. I am chugging along to my bookish goal for the year, which is a total of 60 books, and I think I have read about 33 books so far until the end of June. So yeah, it's going good. There have been some new discoveries for the year, some new genres that I've discovered that I'm really enjoying, which I will probably talk to you about in this video. So yeah, let's go through the questions and see how my year of reading has been so far in 2024. Yeah, the first question is best books of 2024 so far, and I never have a single book as an answer. For this question, I always have 2 or 3, and this year is no exception. I have 3 books. I have A Psalm for the Wild Bill by Becky Chambers, I have Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree, and I have Time Shelter by Georgy Gospodinov. All 3, I think this book is very different from these 2 books, but I have talked about these 3 books extensively in my wrap-ups, which I'll link up above. Do check it out. And I also have a reading blog for Legends and Lattes as well. Overall, I think in this year, I discovered cozy fantasy as a genre, which I am really enjoying when I am on vacation or when I'm just like in a mentally disturbed kind of zone, and these 2 books fit that description so well. This is like a cozy science fiction book, and it feels like a warm cup on a rainy day, which is exactly the kind of day that we are having today. And Legends and Lattes is more like a cozy fantasy book, which is again just right for when you're on vacation and when you just want to stay in bed all day. So definitely recommend. And then of course Time Shelter by Georgy Gospodinov, amazing concept. This is not exactly sci-fi, it is more contemporary based, but the concepts on this are a little futuristic, and overall I really love this book. A huge shout out to this one as well. I don't really read sequels except for the ones that I've just mentioned. I am looking forward to the sequels, but the sequel that I have finished in this year is Flood of Fire by Amitav Ghosh. This is the final book in the Ibis trilogy, and it has taken me I think at least 4 years to read each of these books. I almost always reach out to Amitav Ghosh during this time of the year. Like this time last year I read Glass Palace, and this time 2 years ago I read the second book in this, which is River of Smoke. So something about this weather, something about this mid-year blues is when I reach out for Amitav Ghosh, and he is one of my favorite authors. This book takes you right into the thick of action, like you are in Canton, like you are in China and you are facing the first Opium War, and the setting is incredible. You follow a huge cast of characters across different geographies, so that you have settings in England, you have settings in India, you have setting in of course China, and this cast of characters, how they interact and how they have relationships with each other and the presence that they have with each other. I absolutely really enjoyed this book. I think I'll talk about this book in my July wrap-up, which will come up soon. So yeah, that's the only sequel I've read in 2024. I've been hearing a lot about Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I think it's a book set. It's a book about Iranian immigrants in the USA or something like that. I have seen it in bookshops a lot, and I've always felt like I want to read that, but somehow I've resisted because I have a lot of unread books. But I am looking forward to that one. Maybe I will read it at some point. Apart from that, another book that I am excited to read is Brotherless Night by V.V. Ganesha Nandan. This is the winner of the Women's Prize for 2024, and I've had this on my shelf. I've actually read a bit of it, but then I somehow fell out of it. So I'm excited to go into this and finish this book. So there's a new Matt Haig book which is expected to come out. I think it is called The New Impossible or something like that. The Life Impossible, and I am excited to read him again. The last book that I've read of him was The Midnight Library when it had released, and I did enjoy it. Of course, his non-fiction book is one of my favorite books of all time, Reasons to Stay Alive, and I just like his writing a lot. It's very cozy, it's very like human, and it feels very personal, even his fiction work. So I am excited to read him. I think it will be another one of those cozy feel-good books for me, which is the year, like cozy feel good books are my thing this year. So I am looking forward to that. I don't know anything about it, I'm sorry, but when it comes out, I will check it out and I will let you know. And it has to be, without a doubt, The Women by Kristen Hanna. And apparently this is not an unpopular opinion. Like a lot of people, book tags that I've seen have included this particular book on this for this question. I talked about this in my last wrap up. I really was so intrigued by this concept. It's about the women nurses who are sent to Vietnam, the horrors that they face, and the kind of like lack of acknowledgement that they face when they come back to the US. I just feel that the concept was not done well. Like the plot was not developed properly. Like we are just given like main character scenes like at point A and point B. There's no explanation given to how how the character goes from point A to point B, and it's just about that one character, and everybody else kind of becomes a side character. Whereas I would be more interested in seeing how the other side characters also grew throughout the book, which was absolutely missing throughout. So yeah, I just feel I feel sad that it was a good concept, but it was underdone, and I just expected a lot more from Kristen Hanna because I really did like her other books. So yeah. It has to be Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree for me. I don't know. I went into this book thinking that it will be a cozy read, but you know how like everybody on the internet was hyping this book up last year. I felt like maybe I would be a little let down by it. Like I would like it, but maybe not as much as everybody else seems to be. I was so surprised by how much I loved it. I think maybe because I was just feeling a little down and I was on vacation and I was chilling, and this book hit the spot exactly right for me. I just really loved it. It was so cool and cozy and just all the wonderful things in life. I already bought the prequel and I am looking forward to reading that. So yeah, I really loved reading this. So has to be the biggest surprise for me. Like finishing this kind of opened up a new genre for me of cozy fantasy. So that's why I think this is the best book to answer that question for me. I'll pick someone who's new to me. Becky Chambers for sure. I absolutely loved A Psalm for the Wild Bait. Like it made me, it left me with a smile on my face, and I just feel like this year that those are the kind of books that mean a lot for me. So I already have gone ahead and bought the second book in this series. I think there's a third one as well, which I will pick up at some point when I finish this. But I'm so excited to have discovered this author. She writes so well. She sets the description so well. The character work that she does is so good that I fell headlong into this world, and I just didn't want to leave it, you know what I mean? So yeah, Becky Chambers for me is an absolute find for this year. I don't have a fictional crush. I don't read a lot of romance, and even if I do, I don't like the kind of people who are portrayed in romance books. I always find faults in anybody. Like I would rather pick a grey character who is likable because of some traits than pick someone who's like portrayed to be this good person throughout. I just feel like those sort of characters I always feel a little shady towards. So I don't have a fictional crush. I don't think I've ever had an answer to this question in previous videos as well. But the next question is favorite character, and I have to say another shout out to A Psalm for the Wild Bait. The tea monk in this book, Dax, I think was his name. I absolutely loved. They were so good. Like their questions about life, their existential crisis that they face in this book, and you know how they decide to like kind of shun all preconceived notions of how someone is supposed to behave when they become a tea monk, and even that is not fulfilling, so they start to question. I really liked how they were portrayed in this book. It was just so sweet, and it felt again very human and very relatable. I really loved that character, and I'm excited to read more about them in the upcoming books. So not exactly cry but rage tear up is Bright Young Women by I've forgotten the name. I have my iPad here with the questions and my answers, so if I keep looking down, that's what I'm looking down at. Bright Young Women by Jessica Knoll. So this is a book about, it's a fictionalized book, but it is a book about Ted Bundy and his victims, but the focus is entirely on the victims and their, you know, and the surrounding characters of these women that he has made victims out of. And just reading about how incompetent the law is and how how like stupid mistakes by the law kind of made him escape, and because of that he gets this reputation like he's this brilliant mind. Absolutely not. He's a regular old psychopath who just got away because of mistakes of other men. I think it just made my blood boil in a way that almost made me cry. So I think Right Young Women would fit this question, but it was not crying because it was sad. I mean, it was sad, but I was also just angry at the state of the world today. So yeah. All the books that I just mentioned, A Psalm for the Wild Bit, Legends and Lattes, both of these books made me feel so happy. Like I said, I think cozy fantasy, cozy books is my discovery for this year, and I'm so happy that otherwise I would just turn my nose up to them, that they're not literature, but I think this year I just felt like I should also read for comfort and I should also read for happiness, and I started doing that, and I'm really happy about that. These books definitely made me happy. I read The Martian by Andy Weir, and I immediately went and saw the movie as well. I don't have the book, or I have the book, I don't have it with me. It's somewhere, it's pushed to the back of some of the bookshelves, I think. But I really enjoyed the movie. I think the book, some of the sciencey concepts kind of went over my head because I'm not a science student, and I think the book did do a good job in simplifying it, but I think the movie did a better job in simplifying it further. So I think it was a great adaptation that way. Of course, the book is always much better because of the details, but the movie was very accessible, and I really appreciated that. So that one. There's nothing new in my mid-year Freakout. These are all like old backlisted books and movies, but that's usually how my book Freakout tags go, so it's fine. It has to be this one, The Group by Mary McCarthy. I bought this one in a book haul. I showed this book in a book haul as well. I bought this from Crosswords in Juhu. It's this beautiful hardcover with like flowers all throughout. It's a Virago modern classic, and it's my first Virago modern classic. It is pricey. This is 1,000 rupees, but I don't know, this was also one of those days where I was just feeling down, and buying this book made me happy. I am looking forward to reading this book. I think it's about a group of girlfriends who studied together in Vassar, and then they meet at the wedding of one of their friends and then reconvene 7 years later at her funeral. So interesting premise. I think I will get to it soon, but yeah, this is definitely a beautiful book that I bought this year. I don't think I need to read anything. Definitely I will read Brotherless Night before this year finishes because it won the prize this year, so I want to be relevant while reading this. I also want to read Bookshops and Bondas by Travis Baldry. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes. I don't know when I'll read it, but I do want to read it. Apart from this, I just have a lot of unread books on my shelves, and I am kind of like in that zone that I just pick books as per my whims and as per my fancies, and then I read it. If I don't like it, I will immediately put it down. So I think that's one thing I am grateful for, that this year I don't have the pressure that, oh, if I pick up a book, I have to finish it. Oh, this book, everybody's talking about it, I have to finish it. If I feel like it, I start reading it. And also I've started reading samples on my Kindle. I did do it previously as well, but I think this year I'm a little more better with it, so that I can see whether I like the book and then I can take a call whether to buy it or not. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the relevant questions for me. I think there are a couple of questions on manga, but I don't really read manga, so I'm gonna skip that. So that's it for this bookish tag. If you've liked this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you very soon. I promise. Bye.